Alright, Gorehounds, let's talk about some motherfucking Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 is in fact being developed right now by the fucking people over at Capcom, and this shit is going to be shown off at E3 this year. We're a couple weeks out from E3, and I cannot wait. I'm talking massive fucking survival horror hard-on, waiting for this kind of shit. Fucking this is something that I've been longing for because there's so much riding on this, at least for me. Considering that Resident Evil 7, Capcom's kind of been building up that they want to have a return to form for survival horror. And that's understandable, since the franchise, ever since Resident Evil 4, has kind of deviated from the path of being like a full-on horror series to being an action series with horror elements kind of just sprinkled in. I'm all about just being scared shitless about the ambience, about worried about what the fuck is around the corner. Do I have enough ammunition? No, fuck this, I'm just gonna go and book it before they go and turn me into fucking shredded flesh paper. This is something that I always adored about the earlier entries in it, and the later ones was more like a shooting gallery where it was just like pulpy goodness gushing out of everything that I decided to go and put my crosshairs right over the fucking face of. And think about it, Resident Evil changed the landscape of gaming. This is the honest to goodness fucking truth. It even changed me as a gamer, and we're on the 20th anniversary of this shit. That is fucking monumental to think that a franchise not only transcended video gaming and went outside of that into pop culture, but was able to last through the test of time for this many entries and for this long, across this many generations. I'm just like, bravo, fucking vo. You know, if it wasn't for Resident Evil and Silent Hill, I honestly wouldn't have the taste in gaming that I am today. I mean, shit. I love survival horror like a motherfucker. All of you out there know that shit. I love horror movies like a motherfucker. The more gore, the better. You know, if there's limbs to be ripped off, I'll be there. If there's skulls to be crushed, I'll be there. If there's entrails to be yanked right the fuck out of an upper torso, I'll be there. With bells on and a big old fucking smile on my face, a loaded up gun, and tons of one-liners to go and shoot at in rapid succession, because that's what the fuck I love. Cheesy dialogue, Barry Burton's immaculate beard and his fucking gun, and Jill sandwiches, fucking yes. But the main thing that Resident Evil 7 needs to do, above all else, it needs to be about horror again. Take the Resident Evil remake, take the control scheme of Resident Evil 4, put this shit together, you are good to fucking go. I'm telling you, that is a winning formula. That's all that I really want. I love the Resident Evil remake. To me, it is like top god tier of survival horror games. One of the best examples of what a Resident Evil game should be, what a survival horror game should be, and just overall something that even if you don't like that kind of a subgenre, play this shit because it's fucking good. And Resident Evil 4 changed everything for the franchise, and for some people, they kind of look at it as just like, well, that was the beginning of the end, because then we had Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. And I'll say this about both of those entries. Resident Evil 5 is a very good action game and an extremely good co-op game. It's just a piss-poor Resident Evil game and a piss-poor survival horror game. Because at never one point in time was I, oh, I'm so worried about what's going to happen. No, because I was pumping lead through everything and anything that showed up on screen. And then fucking Chris is just like, steroid mode. And then he's just punching the shit out of Boulder. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening here? And then Shove is in the way. And I'm like, bitch, get the fuck out of the way. You're like Ashley 2.0. And then Resident Evil 6, we could just stop calling it RE6 and let's just call it Identity Crisis. The game that tried to be the jack of all trades and the master of unlocking of none. Sincerely, this game was trying to do everything and anything, and it didn't do any of those things very fucking well. And for all the moments that it shined real bright, there was an extremely dull moment, and overall, it just came out to be lackluster. And that's the thing that sucked about it, was I was so fucking stoked for it, and there are very good moments in it, but there's also some abysmal moments. Jake's entire campaign in that is fucking cringe-inducing shit. T-virus shit, G-virus shit, S-virus shit, what the fuck shit, it's just too much. Stop. This, I want it to be, keep it around the core characters. That's one of the things that I've been annoyed with so fucking often, is that they keep on throwing this big mountain of characters at the player all the time. Just give us like Leon and Claire and Jill and Chris and some of the main canon characters. Focus around that shit. Make it so that you have limited ammunition, so you're not just running around mowing everything down, because there is no reason for you to have any kind of suspended fear, because you're just waiting to kill everything. You're not worried about it killing you. And that's really one of the fucking things that I think sucks about it. Bring back the ambience. That's what I loved about the whole Spencer Mansion. That's what I loved about Code Veronica, was a lot of their environments were fucking spooky. Spoopy. Ooh. That was the shit that I digged. I was just like, dude, I like this stuff because it gets you into the moment. You're just like, I don't know what the fuck's around here. I'm just gonna tiptoe and just, what the fuck is that? And you don't know what's gonna happen. Resident Evil 7 needs to bring that shit back. Bring back the fucking campy-ass puzzles that made no fucking sense. I mean, most of the ones that they would go and shoehorn in was, you need to get an emblem. You walked over there 5 feet away and used the emblem on the door. I'm like, that was fucking it. That was, like, cannot do that shit. And I don't think that they need to force the co-op in every single entry now. Running around with somebody with me at all times no longer has me scared because somebody has my back. I don't need an AI character. I don't even need an extra player there with me. I don't need all this shit I just want to go and get from point A to point B without dying. And make this shit bloody. That's one of the things I miss about the original Resident Evils, was that they were way more gory. They did not fuck around. Bring that shit back. And you might say, well, it's kind of unnecessary to go to... You're playing a fucking horror game. Go all out. I want to see these motherfuckers impaled, decapitated, ripped limb from limb, literally shredded. You know, take Cannibal Corpse lyrics, apply it to this, and just call it a fucking done deal, and that's really about all. Do that shit. You know, and I know that I love the original Resident Evil, but tank controls really just don't cut it for mass appeal. Granted, I can go and rock those fucking bitches like nobody's business, as you might have seen in some of my Resident Evil Let's Plays. Oh yeah, I am gonna push my own videos in a video, so it's like Videoception. Anyway, watch my Resident Evil Let's Plays. You should. They're fucking amazing. But anyway, I can go and rock that shit, but I know that most people can't, and it would just be better to have a control scheme like that. You know, just do that kind of shit. And for fuck's sake, like, learn from the past experiences that did not work out all that well. You've been doing a good job of trying to listen to what fans are saying. They want a horror game. Give them a fucking horror game. Literally, just light that fucking place up with one of the scariest, most fucked up things ever. Nightmarish incarnations and fucking hellions, literally ripped straight from the mouth of fucking Hades itself. Make this shit happen so people are worried, and don't have this convoluted fucking story that's just like, well, it was actually a cult. Oh wait, no, just fucking stop. I was fucking happy when it just turned out to be some kind of pharmaceutical giant that was dabbling in some really risque affairs that was going to end up turning into some bad shit and blowing up in their face, and then, you know, naturally end up getting to a laboratory and it's just like, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. I just wanted to be a scary game series again. That's why I fell in love with it. That's why fans fell in love with it. That's why it became the runaway success that it became, is because it was a survival horror series. They learned that trying to chase after the Call of Duty audience, which is what they said that they were trying to do when they made Resident Evil 5, just burned them. And there was no fucking point. If people wanted to play Call of Duty, they were playing Call of Duty. Why the fuck are they gonna play Resident Evil to get Call of Duty? Do you see how redundant that is? Learn from that kind of shit and just make an awesome game. We got the Resident Evil 2 remake coming out, which I cannot fucking wait for. Holy shit. Like, every time that I mention it, it just brings a big old shit-eating grin, Nemesis-type smile to my face, and I can't wait for this. I can't wait for 7. I'm hoping that they just knock this out of fucking park. By the way, have Barry Burton inside of this game. You know, make the monsters fucking horrifying again. You know, don't make this shit all fucking generic and blah blah blah. Make this game difficult and challenging. I mean, really fuck with the players. You know, that's one of the things that I loved about some games, was they were brutally difficult. And we were like, I can't get through it. Well, fucking try harder. You know, I don't want it to be a walk in the park, because this is supposed to be a fucking horror game. You're supposed to be scared. You should be challenged. You know, I like that kind of shit, so fucking do this, because that's what fans have been asking for. Resident Evil 7, I can't wait for this. E3 is going to be awesome this year, because we're going to see all types of fucking bombs being dropped left and right, and this is one of the ones that I'm going to be keeping an eye out for. Naturally, you already know I'm going to be talking about this shit, so just wait and see. Anyway, Thoughts and feelings, desires, wants, needs about Resident Evil 7, the future of Resident Evil as a franchise, just want to talk about it in general? Did you watch my Resident Evil top 5 monster video? If not, you should, because I worked my fucking ass off on that. I need to do more top 5s, by the way, because I really enjoy doing that. Anyway, this is AlphaOmegaSin, as always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers game the fuck on.